Hey folks, Leroy Cruz here, your Life Applications Officer. I watched a video just now. I watched it basically in its entirety. A lot of it near the end I went to trying to stroll around because I wanted to make sure that I covered a lot that Dillahunty was saying. Yeah, this is a video with Matt Dillahunty and Dinesh D'souza in NYC, presented by Pangburn. Okay, it says here, it's weird because I thought that, it says here, this is the first time Matt Dillahunty and Dinesh D'souza have appeared live together on stage. This event took place at the Town Hall Theater in New York City on March 1st, 2020. This event was produced by Pangburn. This discussion topics begin with God and Trump, but as you will see, move very quickly into social issues. Enjoy the discussion. So it says March 1st, 2020. I thought March 1st, 2020 we were on shutdown. No wonder New York is having some trouble. If they were having meetings like this on March 1st with all them people in the audience, unless it was a studio audience or something. I don't know. It seemed like it was a live audience from what I hear coming from the background, but I don't know. But it seems like they would have been on shutdown in March 1st, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe shutdown's only been going on for a couple weeks now. I don't know. Whatever. That's another video. Matt Dillahunty, never ever in the time that I've watched him, from everything from the atheist experience to watching his little personal podcasts, all the way to these debates, and he's never ever really made sense. And most of the time he either just cuts you off and he wins the debate because he keeps cutting you off and saying things, and I'll go through it here, that are irrelevant to the debate, or he'll constantly just keep saying he doesn't care. And then he'll get angry and he'll go into a tantrum, like he does on the atheist experience. And there was I think his name was Bradford. I'm not sure what his last name was, but he did a video with a guy who took excerpts of everything Matt had said for years, and he put them on the big screen, and he said, Matt, I know you contradict yourself a lot because I have going all the way back so many years, and he put them on the big screen. Matt actually got ticked off about it, and so did some of the people that were up on the stage running the debate. And he showed Matt where Matt contradicts himself a lot. And Matt will say he doesn't believe something one day, but then the next day, oh yeah, okay, I agree with that. And then the next day, I don't agree with that. I don't believe that. And here's why. It all depends on who he's debating with. Now, D'Souza, I am totally shocked because I've seen people totally beat D'Souza, okay, with something soft, and just D'Souza just could throw his hands up. But man, in this debate right here, D'Souza was preaching. D'Souza was ready for this debate. Now, to the atheists, no matter how many times or who it is that does a debate with an atheist, the atheists always win. An atheist could just sit there and fold his hand and say, yeah, and there may be 5 atheists out of 50, or maybe even out of 100 that might say, he screwed up on that debate, man. Like, he didn't say nothing, you know. But most of the time, atheists always win. Boy, he really ripped that guy. Well, wait a minute. He didn't even say anything. He didn't explain nothing. And then when you address some of the topics, he gets extremely mad and angry and just goes off. Okay? So I'm going to just go through some of the highlights of the video. As you see, I didn't put it here. But I'm going to go through some of the highlights. That they were talking about, Dinesh and Matt. And I'm just going to, try to keep it short and just go through them. Separation of church and state. They talked about that near the end of this video. Did separation in church help anything? Now, in my lifetime, when I was a youngster, coming up in even middle school, certain teachers were allowed to have the 10 Commandments. This is back in the 80s. Certain teachers were allowed to have the 10 Commandments on their walls. They were allowed to have chit tracts on their desks or whatever. I had a teacher that was Seventh-day Adventist. He was preaching the gospel to everybody. Okay? But I think separation of church and state, they're thinking of more the church having its hand in politics is more what they're talking about. Politics and government is what I think they're getting at. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's politics and government that they want to separate the church from. They want to separate the church from politics and government. Well, that goes both ways, my friend. I would like to separate the gays and the atheists from government and politics. I feel the same way you do. Like, we don't really need gays in politics. You can't be gay about politics. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. If what you want to talk about has nothing to do with sexuality, that's fine. I've said this before in other videos about atheists. If what you want to talk about has nothing to do with your sexuality or your liberalism, your liberal behaviors, okay, then, okay, fine. Yes, an atheist could run for president. A homosexual could run for president. As long as you don't get up there and have big press meetings about the fact that you're gay. Who cares? Okay? That's what I'd like us all to be separated from. Who cares if you're gay? Okay? Who cares if you're, transgender? But Matt, oh, thank you, Matt. Thank you so much, Matt. I'm going to get to it. Matt opened up a can of worms, and I'm going to let the worms come out of the jar, or the can, rather, and I'm going to let them get all over y'all, okay? Because he shouldn't have. Don't defend shit, excuse my French, don't defend crap that can't be defended, okay? Because you make yourself sound like, excuse my French, an ass, okay? First of all, separation from church and state. At first, I was content with it, but now I feel like, you know what? Maybe the Christian coalition should have their hand in the government and politics, because look at how the atheists are trying to have their hand in government and politics. Now, if you want to tell me that the same rights for all, okay, I have to respect that. If me, like one atheist said, I think it was Devin Tracy that said that a Christian should be content with separation of church and state, because the more others have their rights, the more the Christian has rights. I've had about 4 atheists tell me that. I think Devin Tracy is one of them that believes that too. Yeah, in that case, fine. But if it's going to be about, okay, you got your separation of church and state, why do I have to do a gay cake? What's I got to do with separation of church and state? Why can't I separate my store that I'm doing the cake at from your politics and from the government? Why does the government get to tell me who I can make a cake for? Okay? I'm just saying. Okay? Here's one. If you pay for it, should you be able to dictate its mission? Matt said something about separation of church and state. He believed that that the church, like the Catholic Church, should not be able to dominate what goes on in hospitals. Wait, hold up. These Catholics invested money into these hospitals. Yes, they should have say-so on the mission of that hospital. What is the mission statement of that hospital? If they invested the money, they should have a right to say what goes on in it. Okay, that's what America's about. That's what freedom of property and rights of property and rights of land are all about. I mean, like, if I invested my money in something, I should have say so. It ain't no different than giving to charity. Do I have to give to charity just for the sake of giving to charity? Or do I give to charity because giving to that charity is of a good cause? See? So, I disagree with you there, Matt. We're going to invest our money to where we have a right to have some say-so about what goes on. I'm not investing my money in the homosexuality. I'm not investing my money in the transgender arena. I'm not investing my money in that garbage. Okay? All right? Now, I don't care if these people benefit off of what I've invested, but I'm not going to invest my money with their names on the investment. You see what I'm saying? See the difference there? It'll come to you on the way home, okay? Here's my favorite. This is just if there is no God, why do we judge anything at all? Something Matt said to D'Souza about trying to basically explain to D'Souza why nothing he's saying predicts that we need an entity, that we need a God, a deity, or anything like that. That's one of the things that he was trying to portray there, if there is no God, why do we judge anything at all? So let me find an illustration. If you say there's no God, I had them on the tip of my head. If we say there's no God, why do we need to? And this ain't one of them. I'm just throwing this in there. Why do we need to practice marriage? Why does one person practice marriage and one doesn't? And if there is no God, why does it matter? Why is there a name? Why are there titles? If there is no God and the Bible has nothing to do with the welfare and the upbringing of this country, why do we have titles and platforms for things? Now, I know y'all trying to get rid of all the platforms, but the platforms were already here. Okay? Why do we, and I'm going to go through this again on something Matt said about transgender women. It goes the same way here. If there's no God, what I do with my penis should have no conduct to it. You know, like lately, whenever I do a topic on gay stuff or transgender, LGBTQ, people want to, accuse me of being gay. Okay. Like I said in another video a while back, okay, that's fine. If there is no God, what's wrong with me being gay? Right? If there is no God, what is wrong with a Christian? Let's say I'm a Christian, but there's no God. And you as an atheist believe there is no God. Okay, so if you say there's no God, what's wrong with me being gay? There's no God. It shouldn't matter who's gay, whether he's a Christian, an atheist, or whatever. Because there's no moral ground to say that, you want to tell the Christians, well, you want to tell us what the moral grounds aren't. Well, there's nothing wrong with, two men that love each other. Okay. Being together. Okay. But even if I speak against that, that doesn't change it. So all your jokes about, hey, y'all, I think Mr. Cruz is gay. Well, that just blows your jokes. Because if there is no God, then even if I want to make a case, I'm not bound by a case any more than you are. I can be gay, I can be bisexual, I can, but I hear this stuff, oh, well, you know what, I think Cruz is gay. What if I was? There's no God, what if I was? What's stopping me from, and I'm gonna add more of that, but if there's no God, why is it wrong for anybody to do anything that doesn't, let's say something that affects lives, murder? I can understand when sexuality hurts. It hurts someone physically. But when a young girl tells the police officer that she wants to be with the man that's supposedly statutory raping her, okay? There's no God. So what law says that this young girl, being she has a right to say whether she's gay or transgender, right? She's 15 years old. She has a right to choose whether she's gay or transgender, right? So in that case, why doesn't she have a right to say whether she wants to sleep with a 30-year-old man? Right? There's no God. Okay? And so there's no God, there's no laws. So wait a minute, okay, it's okay to be gay since what time in the century? But then you want to say, oh, it's okay to be gay, but it's not okay to have sex with minors, okay, which you might call minors here in America, but in other countries, by the millions, these young girls are getting married and having children at 14 years old. Okay? And the child pedophile laws change. Okay? I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that in there like, there's no God. There's no, and we're trying to be humanists here, right? We're all, there's no God. It's about being a humanist. And because there's no God, and we're atheists and we're humanists, then we're making this up as we go along, right? So, now if we're not making this up as we go along, I'm talking about outside the Texas Receptus. If we're not making this up as we go along, Who made it up? If y'all ain't making this up as y'all go along, Matt Dillahunty, I can tell you, Matt Dillahunty sits up there and crosses his legs, and he goes to talking about, well, I. Matt, no one cares about what I thinks. There's a law to everything in the freaking universe. Hate to tell you, Matt, but there's a law to humanism. There's a law to what is right for men and women to do with one another. And it's about men and women. That's the only gender that there is. And that's the only gender there is, whether you're animal or human. Okay? There's no 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13 genders. Get out of here. Get out of here with that crap. Get out of here. Okay? If there is no God, why do we judge anything at all? There's people who are gay that judge other gays. There's people that are atheists that judge Christians when Christians fall into sexual relationships with gay people, or they fall into an adulterous relationship. Well, wait a minute. If the wife wasn't treating them good in the first place, why can't he cheat on her, being there's no God? It was God that said that, you only get the choice of being married or divorced, no in between, and no excuses for, infidelity in a marriage. You're either married or you're divorced. You're either a man or you're a woman. Life is simple. Life is simple in the Bible. It's difficult with all these other little areas of legislation or whatever you want to call it. It makes it more difficult. Okay? Somewhere in there, he felt that D'Souza was saying everything should come from my belief in a deity. Well, he was disagreeing with D'Souza. D'Souza never said that. Everything should come from the belief of the faith of the individual that believes. Everything should come from the faith of the individual that believes. Some Christians have higher levels of faith than others. Okay? How you turn that into all one thing, it's not. Okay? It all depends on what it is. But I'll get to it again when we get to purpose, because Matt had some things to say about the word purpose. Philosophies of God versus humanism. Well, that's a good answer. Let's look at your philosophy, Matt. You had D'Souza with his mouth sticking wide open, okay, in this video, because you were saying some stuff that was just totally sexually nasty compared to, what a Christian sees as the norm. You're making things normal in this century that were never ever normal in any other century, unless of course you were pagan. And people actually had wars over those things, and I can see why. You got to be careful how you express stuff. Your philosophies, trying to escape the philosophies of God that are good for us. Okay? Somewhere in there, like Matt did in this video, he talked himself, when he did start talking, he talked himself into a hole. Like you really, really want to let that fly. And then when D'souza would come back in, then Matt wanted to move on because, hold up, Matt, you need to explain that. Like, where are you going, man? Like, you need to explain that. Matt believes that a trans woman is a woman. Here we go. If a trans woman is a woman, Matt, then, well, you're married, Matt, I know that. So let's take somebody that's not married. If a trans woman is a woman, Matt, then it should not matter to any man out there if the woman that is attracted to him, that wants to go out with him, okay, has a penis. If a transgender woman is a woman, why aren't most of the people I see every day in my life with transgender women? They're with real women. I'm sorry, but real women. That's the way I said it. That's the way I meant it. Now, some trans women, they think that, like, you know, these guys go around hitting on other guys. You know what I mean? Saying, hey, baby, you cute and all like that. I'd like to get to know you. You ever had a good woman before? Dude, you ain't no woman, okay? I had a guy almost get the crap beat out of him over that, and I had to say, hey, look, man, I had to explain to him, you're going to see more of this. Don't let it surprise you, man. Like, calm down. But I had to pull this guy away. I had to get him out. I had to take him outside. Like, calm down, man. A guy who clearly has no features on him except his long hair and except, you know, what he thinks in his head that indicates that he's a woman. Okay? There's nothing there to indicate that he's a woman. Okay? He looks like a guy with all his facial hair missing. Okay? He's built like a guy. Yeah, there's a little something here. Look like he added some silicone to his chest muscles there or something. Just a little skinny dude with long hair. I can't blame the guy for getting mad. I can't blame the guy for getting mad. And why isn't it the pretty boys? The pretty boys, like, here's one. Why isn't it the pretty boys with small hands and feet? Like, I got small hands. But there's guys that I know, you know, that are around my height, and they're the size of a woman in the first place, and are smaller than me all the way down. They're in good shape, nice and thin. How come they aren't getting, why come they aren't, if this transgender thing is real, how come the men that are growing or coming out with small everything from the top of their head to the sole of their toe, how come they're not transgender? If this is science, if this is real, how come they're not transgender? You would think that the one among us that already has female features like super small hands and super small feet and you know, a pretty face, you know what I'm saying, you know, small everything, he has his bone structure in his face, and now it looks like he could be a woman if he wanted to be. But yet you get the most nastiest looking, okay, that's another video. I'm going to get off of that. Okay. Trans woman, if a trans woman is a real woman, okay, then it should not matter to any of you guys out there if the person that, if the pretty lady that wants to, you know, you single men anyway, or you divorced men, if the single woman that wants to hit on you and wants you to buy her drinks and take her out for a good time, have a one-night stand with you or whatever, wants to fornicate with you, whatever, it should not matter if she has a penis or not. If a transgender woman is a real woman. Okay, Matt, let's see your wife tell you that she wants to go get her female parts removed and have a penis put there. Let's see how long you stay married after that, Matt. Let's see how long you stay married. If a transgender woman is a real woman. Yeah. And I ain't black. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I ain't black. I must be Chinese. Okay. D'Souza said, evidence is not up for argument if evidence is not available to be collected. Something on those lines. And even though Matt looked at him and put his eyebrows up like, oh, you want, but I see what D'Souza was saying. Okay, it's just like the evidence for God. Okay, just because you don't have evidence of a certain type, that does not mean that evidence doesn't exist. What is evidence? No one's been able to tell me in this whole history of me being on YouTube what evidence of God would look like. There is no science that's going to tell you what evidence of God looks like. Oh, we know that there is no God because if there was a God, blah, 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 blah. We know that God doesn't exist because if God exists, we would find him here, or we would find him there, or he would be doing this, or he, you know what I'm saying? No, saying that God does not exist is more a emotional response instead of an educated answer. Let me say that again. Saying that God does not exist is more of a emotional response more than it is an educated answer, because it's not an educated answer. Okay? And then here we go with this. All these atheists do this. Somewhere in there you're talking, as soon as you start to get to the real spiritual stuff, soon as Matt got to the more spiritual stuff with D'Souza, and they started talking about all this, D'Souza kind of slapped him with that whole transgender stuff and all like this. Matt wanted to move on, and D'Souza asked him what was early on in the video. D'Souza asked him, well, what would be your difference? If you don't agree with me, what would be your difference? He said, he had to think about it. Education. Okay. So for all my viewers, including, all these atheists that I like to talk about. So you're telling me that every Christian has to go back to college, okay, and learn all over again in order to what? You're saying that we have to learn science all over again in order to what? In order to believe in God? In order to believe that certain things are morally wrong? When a lot of you have to admit so yourself that those things that are morally wrong have nothing to do with science. They have nothing to do with, you admit that yourself that they're more intellectual. You don't want to say spiritual, so you say intellectual. Okay? I'm not going to go learn education and science all over again in order to defend my faith as a Christian. I'm sorry. Okay? You'll be stuck on the toilet, okay, waiting on Corona season to get over so you can get yourself some toilet paper so you can wipe your butt before I sit there and go all the way back to school, okay, just so I can argue with atheists. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, okay? All right? It's not going to happen. But it's okay, these atheists that can't even spell. Okay, they can't spell enough for you to understand what kind of comment they making. They don't even know how to spell the word Jesus, let alone criticize. Okay? I'm not going to learn education and science all over again. If that's what I got to do, remind me again why I don't want to be an atheist. And I don't really see any atheists doing that either. They just all say that. Even the ones that can't even spell their own name right, they say that. Well, education and science. Man, shut up. Just shut up. Just stop. 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 Everybody is always representing, or misrepresenting, I should say. Everybody is always misrepresenting Matt. Okay? And it was Brudenheart, or Brudensaul. The first name was Saul. Saul Bruden, look him up. Look him up. It's Bruden something. He's Russian. Had that debate with Matt. And he put Matt on the big screen for everybody to see. Kind of like somebody does me. You should be ashamed of yourself for doing that to Matt, man. But he went through, and Matt got mad. He looked like Leroy Cruz. When this guy did it to him, he went on a tantrum. And then everybody went on a tantrum. They started defending Matt like he was the president of the United States and this guy was a terrorist. They told him to turn his stuff off. He said, but it's the truth. Look, this day Matt said this, and this day he contradicted himself. Then he said it again, and then he contradicted himself again. Okay, and Matt just, Matt just got mad. I tell you what, that video was more about Matt being mad than it was about Matt really winning a debate. But to all the atheists, they always win no matter what. Even though this guy busted Matt's whole atheist history. He broke right through that. Oh, but Matt wanted a debate. Why? Because you made the guy turn his camera off. That's why. You made the guy stop talking about you. You started practicing censorship. You put tape over the guy's mouth. You made him turn his computer off so he couldn't blast you anymore. So now, okay, you win a debate. But all throughout the video, you didn't know what to say. You just sat there and cried like a baby. Okay? Leroy Cruz ain't the only one crying and getting butthurt. Okay? Matt said something about purpose. Him and D'Souza had an argument about purpose. Matt, you don't think you have a purpose. Remind me again why I don't want to be an atheist. I have a purpose. My purpose is to love God, love people, fear God, and follow Jesus and keep his commandments. That is my purpose. And my purpose is to stay within the lines of the BIBLE, the basic instructions before leaving planet Earth. I'm going to stay within this ship until it's time for us to ascend. Okay? I'm going to stay within that ship. Okay? That's my purpose in life. Love God, love people. Okay? Love his creation. Fear God, follow Jesus, and stay within his word and follow his word. Okay? Into eternity. That's my purpose, Matt. I'm sorry if you don't have a purpose. I do. And I'm sure D'Souza has a purpose too. He just didn't want to get all churchy with you, but he's got a purpose. Okay? Humanism. Okay? Atheism and humanism go hand in hand. Most humanists are atheists. Most atheists are humanists. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. By you blasting your humanist feelings out there. And you know what? To me, that's kind of butthurt. Everybody just throwing any old thing out there, like Matt said about the transgender people. just throwing any old kind of legislation out there, or throwing any old kind of like complaint or protest out there, and then we got to pass legislation for them. Okay, that gets old, man. That's just very immature and butthurt. I'm tired of these whiny crybabies who poop in the middle of the street, and then they want legislation for it. They want laws passed for them and freedoms expressed for them. I'm sorry, I'm just not down with that. I'm really not down with that at all. I really ain't. I'm not down with it. Matt has a problem with having a conscience. Well, Matt, it is your conscience that causes you to actually have morals. It is not atheism. It is not humanism. Okay? Crying about your rights, okay, and putting our government and state through this, okay, is really inhuman. You can call that humanism if you want to, but it's really inhuman. But it is your conscience that causes you to have morals when you say, like you say in the next line, I don't care, my life is mine. When you say your life is yours, you can do what you want to do. It is your conscience that's causing you to have morals. And every atheist does not have the same morals. Neither did they get together and find some morals in the universe that Christians never, and that's another thing, that's a whole topic right there. All the morals that we practice that are good for the human man and the human woman are found in the Textus Receptus, are found in the Word of God. Okay? It's all found in here, and it all started with here. Who created marriage? Tell me, who created marriage? Marriage didn't come from no atheist, humanist community. Neither did it come from any LGBTQ community or any pagan community. Marriage came from God. The first man and woman to be on the planet were born in marriage. And for this cause, a man shall leave his mother and father and what? Cling to his wife. Not his girlfriend. His wife, you fornicators. For this cause, a man shall leave his mother and father and cling to his wife. Okay? But Matt said probably about 8 times in this video, I don't care, my life is mine. When Matt feels like he's losing, he says, I don't care. He started the video off with, I don't care, because he didn't understand what D'Souza was talking about, and he didn't want to incriminate himself in the first round, so he said, I don't care. I don't care. Okay? Another thing he says is none of your business. Oh, so it's none of our business if a trans girl, okay, goes into the ladies' bathroom, or a trans man, I should say, trans woman, trans grown woman, trans female goes into the ladies' bathroom. There are already cases, just in a little bit of time this has been going on, where men in dresses have went into these bathrooms and assaulted young teenage girls in these bathrooms. Okay? Go to Fearless 2005 and look that video up. Okay? Go to Fearless 2005 and look it up. There's already cases of men dressed in dresses going into female bathrooms and raping women. namely young underage girls. Okay. Thanks a lot, Matt. That's a good moral you got there. You know what I'm saying? You don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's none of our business if a guy with a penis wants to go, okay, and put on a dress and hang out in a woman's bathroom. D'Souza also said that. And you said, well, it ain't none of their business. Okay, it ain't nobody's business. Okay, well, this is why I practice Jesus and not humanism. Okay? That's why I practice Jesus and not humanism. The social construct issue, to me, atheism is a social construct. Okay? Atheism is a social construct. Just like I talked about scruples in several videos. Atheism is a social construct. It is not reality, but it is what these people want to make as laws for yourselves. They ain't my laws. They ain't gonna push them laws on me. Laws for you. And if I want to talk about God, the God that you don't even believe in the first place, if I want to talk about him from Scripture, okay, that's my prerogative, being that you have failed to show me a God out there that is missing. Who is this God that is missing, that's proven by science what he is if he existed? I agree with D'Souza on that. That's a straw man. Straw man argument, okay? Whenever somebody says, you know, when Matt gets done arguing, he wants to go home for the night, where's evidence for your God? Well, Matt, where's evidence for my God? You're looking at it. I am evidence for my God. And so are you. I'm talking to evidence of my God. If there was no God, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Okay? So I'm Leroy Cruz, your Life Applications Officer. That will be good enough. Thank you for watching. Things are about to change around here. It's time for me to go back to kicking some butt. And if you are offended, prepare to be offended. God bless you. Leroy Cruz, your Life Applications Officer. See you again soon.